Hey you guys, so today is Sunday, July 26th. It's the end of the month. I need to do some gardening maintenance today. It's been so hot and humid here. We've had so much rain. I think we've had rain almost every single day this week and part of last week as well. So let me see if I can get some let's see if I can get some gardening maintenance in. I've got to cut back some plants. I got to prune back some camellias that's growing a little wild, pull some weeds as well from the garden beds, maintain some of my vegetable garden beds as well. I've picked a lot of tomatoes. I've got a lot of tomatoes, and I'm covering some up with some screens to make sure that they don't get attacked by other insects, and I want to make use of my tomatoes. So let's start with Hayden's garden here. I'm going to start cleaning up in his bed first, and then we'll move to the other beds later. If you guys see some smoke in the background, we're burning some debris like pine cones and some dead branches and things like that in our fire pit. So that's what the smoke and the haze is in the background. So I'm going to start with my climbing roses. It's my Bathsheba. I've cut some back last weekend, but I need to tuck them in under the arbor and get them a little bit more trained because they're growing a little wild right now. And then we'll work on the rest of the garden beds and go on to the other end where the generous gardener climbing rose is. So let me flip this around and show you guys what we're working with. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you guys. It's hot. And there's wild mushrooms growing around here that I need to get rid of before the dogs try to eat it. Like I said, this is Bathsheba, and I need to train some of these in here. Let's see if I can push this in this way. Oh, I'm going to use this as part of my flower arrangement. I don't want it to go to waste, so let me come down here real quick. I've got a bucket of water over here that I'm putting flowers into. Let's go ahead and do that there. Oh, there's some broken branches in here too. All right, let's see. Some wild branches over here. Ooh. And then somebody cut this one off. This one's broken. Last week when I was pruning these roses back, I forgot my rose glove because I was too lazy to go back inside the house to get it, and I was getting poked everywhere. Let's cut some of these back. This is dead. All right, these needs to get tucked under here. There we go. It's 91 degrees today, but the real feels like 103. With this humidity, I'm like melting over here. Oh, also got this pecan tree hanging over here, so I gotta cut that down. I think that's all I could do with this one. All right, let's see. Got some dead branches. We're gonna get rid of those. There's a dead branch here. Wonder if I can get this to come over here. All right, let me deadhead this one. And then let's bring this in here. There we go. Cutting back these dead branches here as well. Okay. There we go. I think that's about all we can do with these. It's so hot, you guys. I've only been out here for 10 minutes and I feel tired already. I feel exhausted. Okay, let me go stay in the shade for a moment. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this branch right here is crossing in with this other one, so I'm gonna cut this one. All right, let me step back and see. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, you guys, so I just took a quick water break. I put some liquid IV in my water bottle because it's a little hot. I didn't know if I could get through with standing out in the sun here, and it's only not even 5 o'clock yet and it's still hot. I'm going to trim back some of these camellia here so it doesn't look so wild. I've already sprayed my pruners with rubbing alcohol, 90%, 91%. There we go. That's all I'm going to do with the camellia. Just a quick little prune here. And I'm also going to cut back my dahlias here. These are already spent flowers. Okay, so over here, my my microphone wasn't working anymore and it didn't record any sound, so I am going to do a voiceover. Right here I am trimming back the jasmine, Carolina jasmine, that's it. Cutting back a lot of these overgrown vines, and I'm also cutting some flowers for my flower arrangement. That is the little limelight hydrangeas. And I am opening the bottom of the stem so it'll take in more water. And there's my bucket. And I'm also going to cut a few of my salvias as well. It's still in bloom. I cut a lot back earlier in the season, and now they've got another flush coming out. So I'm stripping off the leaves there so it doesn't have any leaves in the water, and that way the flowers can last a little bit longer. I'm also still going to continue cutting back some of the other flowers, and that right there is the echinacea, the cone flowers. They're all bloomed out, so I'm cutting them back so I can get another flush of flowers this fall. There's just so many things to do in the garden, and there's also, we've been getting so much rain lately, so the ground has been so saturated. I also noticed I forgot that I forgot that I had the camera on tracking, and so I apologize if it looks like it's moving around back and forth. If it's giving you guys any headaches, my apologies for that. But I do like the tracking on my gimbal. It really helps, so I don't have to constantly stop and rotate my camera, or my phone that is. I've got some dahlias there that I need to prune and cut back some of the flowers to deadhead them. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got some more cone flowers right there that I'm cutting back. They're just looking a little tired. Oh, and that is my summer sweet flower right there. It has sent out runners, and I don't want it to get any bigger than it already is, so I'm pulling out the roots and throwing that away as well. I just wanted to make sure that I don't have too big of a plant in that area. I went to go grab my rubbing alcohol, which is 91%, and I'm going to spray my pruning scissors with them before I cut or prune back the next plant. I just want to make sure I'm not transferring any virus or anything like that from one plant to another plant. So that's what I went to go get, was my rubbing alcohol spray that I put into a bottle there. That is the Olivia Austin Rose. I was shaking it to see if there were any loose petals that's going to come off, and I don't want to bother to put that in my flower arrangements if they're going to fall off on the table once I put them in the vase. So I'm stripping all the leaves here as well, and that's what I plan on using as part of flower arrangements. But I just hate that the leaves, the petals, they just don't last very long on there. Maybe I just didn't cut them early enough for me to use in my flower arrangements, but I ended up not being able to use that particular stem. In this one right here, I noticed on the back side, this rose, this branch, this cane had produced some new growth that had a bunch of thorns on there, and the Olivia Austin Rose did not have a lot of thorns to begin with. They do have thorns, but not this much, so I fear that this rose bush has caught the rosette virus. So I decided to cut that branch off. Hopefully it'll show up for you guys so you guys can see that it's got a lot of thorns on there. So I'm going to sterilize my pruning scissors again before I cut back on another rose bush. And the rose next to that Olivia Austin Rose is the one that I had cut back and stuck into the ground, so it grew another it propagated. Oh, here is the other branch that I had. That's the one that the rose stem came out from. That's the main cane from that. So I decided to cut further in to remove it, just to be on the safe side. But you know what, you guys? I think that Olivia Austin Rose is going to have to come out. I think once it's infected, I think the whole entire bush is infected. So I'm sad, but I think I'm going to have to pull it out, unfortunately. But I am going along and pruning all the other roses as well. And as I'm looking at this video and watching it over, I should have changed my gloves. I did not change my gloves. It's the same gloves that I used to touch that the rose stems that I cut off that I think has the rose rosette, and I'm spreading them around myself. So who knows how bad this is going to be for me. I'm trimming my generous gardener climbing rose right now just to tame it back a little bit and get the branches to be a little bit lower at the top there. I think all my rose bushes are going to end up having the rose rosette just because I didn't change out my gloves. Just thinking about that now, I didn't realize that at the time, that, you know, all I did was sterilize my scissors. But I think there's a chance that the virus could be on my gloves itself after touching that infected branch. So I'll be keeping an eye on all my roses in that area there and see what's going to become of it because of my carelessness. Let's just say that I was careless with not paying attention of changing out my gloves as well. I don't think just spraying my pruning scissors is good enough. And I didn't put on my rose gloves either on top of that, so I had to be really careful with trying to bend this stem and get it to go down and grow downward instead. And my rose bush, my climbing roses, one side always does better than the other. It gets more sun on the right side and less, I think it's the same. The sun rises from the east, which is behind, in front of me that way, and then it sets behind me on the west. So, but for some reason, that right side never does as well as the left side. So I'm continuing to prune my roses here, cut back all of the rose hips, hoping to get another flush of rose this fall. I know it's not as glorious as in the spring, but again, I'm just trying to tame the climbing rose a little bit. And I do have clematis growing on here as well. Oh, this is Daisy. She just had her babies on July 7th, so she gave birth to 4 new puppies. So we have them in we have them right now still. We'll list them on the website to sell them once they get a little bit older. But she's a very protective mommy. And here is a dead cane that I've cut back and removed. So that's what I'm trying to do, is cut back some dead canes, diseased canes, and so forth. And that's Kenzo. He is her partner. We always say that he's her husband, but he's the daddy. He doesn't even realize those are his kids. It's so funny. Going back to pruning back the rest of my roses here, and here's what I have so far in my bucket. I'm going to cut some more, of course. I'm going to cut back some of these dahlias, deadhead some of them as well. I'm trying to use some of the flowers. I believe I was able to get a couple of stems from there. And here I am going to the other side of garden beds, where I'm going to cut back the Gara. The Gara is ginormous, you guys. Wait till you guys see it. There. Look how big that thing is. I mean, my goodness, I can't believe it. I don't know if I think I may have started this one from seed, but it's just so big. I've cut it back once already earlier this year, so this is the second time I'm cutting it back. I don't know if it'll have enough time to flush back again for this fall for another showing, but it was just, I mean, it's already bloomed out already, so I'm just cleaning up the garden beds a little bit so it doesn't look too, I don't know, wild, you can say. The rose to the left of me over there is still pushing out some new blooms, so I was happy that that is healthy. This is my balloon flowers that I started off from seeds, and I am going to use some of that in my flower arrangements as well. I'm cutting back some of the dead flowers so that I can use it in my flower arrangement. And what's crazy about this balloon flower is when you cut the stems, there is this white milkish sap that comes out. It can be a little itchy, you know, for your skin if you're allergic to that kind of stuff. So try to wear gloves when you're cutting the stems or pruning them back for the balloon flowers. If you might have an allergic reaction from it. Here we are still on the back side of the garden where we have the firelight hydrangeas, which is right there. I'm putting back on. They have a nice little pink tinge to it. Not too much, but not as green as the little lime hydrangea. The little lime hydrangea, of course, starts off as being white, and that right there is the bobo that I just cut. I'm going to use them in my flower arrangements and add them to my flower arrangements as well. I've got stuff in my hair and I didn't even realize it, but you know, you guys, it was getting, I'm starting to lose daylight, so it was too hot earlier in the day, and I had to wait until after dinner to finish this off. Of course, here I'm splitting off the bottom of the plant, the stems, so it'll take up more more water, that is. Right here is the area where I had a bunch of yarrow growing. They spread to that side. They grow very well here. It was looking very wild. It was dying back from when we had our drought back in April. But since we've got a lot of rain now, I needed to cut back all of these. I just used a weed whacker and just mowed it down. I just used a weed whacker because it was so much. I couldn't do it by hand anymore. I was getting too tired. But those right there are the other yarrow. I'm going to cut back some of the other ones there. Here we go. It's starting to get darker. So these are my Black Eye Susan that I'm going to use or add to my flower arrangements. The white flowers back there is the Dara, but it's the white one. I don't have I used to have the purple one, but that one didn't self-seed. I ended up having the white ones instead. So these Rudbeckia here have self-seeded, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it growing there, so that way it'll cover up the area and help with keeping the weeds from taking over in that garden bed. And that's where my not plum, but nectarine, that's my other nectarine there. It's growing really well. And I am going to cut a small branch of the cinnamon basil to add to my flower arrangement because it has a nice smell to it and it looks pretty. I think it looks pretty. I do like the cinnamon smell. I don't eat this particular one in my cooking. You can use it, but I don't like the cinnamon smell as far as edibles. I really prefer it to be in my flower arrangements instead. And here is my sunflowers. I've got one. The other ones are a little on the short side, so I decided to get this one instead. And I have some more sunflowers on the back side of the garden bed, which I'll cut some more and add that to my bucket. These are some zinnias that I needed to cut back since some of them are bloomed out, but I want to use some in my flower arrangements for the ones that still has the nice petals in there. And I can't remember which variety that is up there in the front, but I ordered that from Rare Seeds. Is it Senorita? No, something. But they don't get as tall as like the Binnery Giants and things like that, like this one here. These are the taller zinnias, and you can tell which one is ready to pick when you shake the stem and the head isn't flopping back and forth. That means they're ready to be harvested. Here I am. Of course, it's getting darker. It's probably about 8:15 already in the evening. And those celosias there have self-seeded from last year. And once you plant celosia, you'll always get it coming back the next year because they self-seed. There is thousands of seeds on their seed head, on their flowers once they dry off. Here is my other sunflowers. I've got the branching sunflowers, and also I did planted some pro-cut flowers as well, but I don't know if those came through or not because these right here has multiple stems. So, but whatever it is, I'm able to pick these sunflowers, and I've been using them in my flower arrangements every couple of weeks. I come out and pick some new flowers. And we had a rainstorm the night before, earlier in the day, and it's pushed a lot of my sunflowers to the ground. So I'm just I try to attach it to the fence there. We've had a lot of problems with ants. I don't know about you guys, but we've had a lot of ants in the garden. So no matter, I don't spray the flowers and the plants with anything. So I did go get some ant bait, which I sprinkled onto the ground, but at this time of the recording I did not have any ant baits, so they were just crawling all over the place. And here I'm trying to use the bamboo cane to hold it up a little bit instead of it falling forward, and I attached it to the fence. Well, you guys, it's getting dark, so I had decided to end my video here, and I did my flower arrangements the next day, which you will see in the video as well. Thank you, guys. Okay, you guys, so I am going to put my flower arrangements together. These are the flowers that I picked yesterday while I was doing my gardening maintenance and clearing out some of the garden beds. Some of these looks like it broke off. Oops. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my scissors here and cut some of these off. I'll be right back. There's some parts here that got broken. It needs to be cut off since they're not going to survive and be in the vase anyways. See how they're growing like this? I think I want them to be more inside. This way, I don't know how that's going to work, so we'll see. I'm going to use these fillers as my frog because there's no frog in here. My vase already has plant food in here. So I'm going to put, this is my cinnamon basil, by the way. Excuse me. Oh no, this one broke off. Well, I'm going to have to take these leaves off here. There. This is a spent flower from my chase tree. The flowers are all bloomed out already and it left these berries here. So I'm going to use that as part of my flower arrangement and part of my fillers. Let's put this here in the center. And let's find, this is my limelight hydrangea. Let's put that right here. This is from my Bobo hydrangea. See how tall this one gets. Let's put this one right here. There we go. And this is a spent flower as well. I need to look up the name. It's not Dara, and it's definitely not false Queen Anne's lace or Leia, but I like the green color that it gives here. Put that in here as well. I also picked the balloon flower. When I was trimming them back and pruning them back, I figured I might as well use it as part of my flower arrangements. This is a yarrow. I try to cut back all the leaves here so that it doesn't stay in the water and make the water get messed up much faster because of the bacteria. That will shorten the life of your flower arrangements. This is Talinum lemon, and these are the spent flowers from it. It's got berries on there. They self-seed it for me every year, so I'm happy with that. And this is from the Carolina Jasmine. I like the whimsical look on here because it does give it a little movement to my flower arrangements. Another yarrow. Can I put this yarrow at? Let's see how long this one is. Go. Got some zinnias here that I've planted from seeds. This is tall enough to stay in the center here. So let's see if we can put this right here. Or maybe right there. Of course, another spent flower from my chase tree here. I love the berries. It gives it, I like this being in my flower arrangement as well. I think it looks pretty good. This is a celosia that's self-seeded from last year. Now you guys, please keep in mind that I am not a florist. I am just a gardener who loves to use my cut flowers from the garden and arrange my flowers in the house. That's basically it. So, and I don't know any form or anything like that. I just kind of place them around what I feel and what I think is maybe right or wrong. I'm not sure, but I'm just doing it based on what I think looks good for me. Another hydrangea here. Where can I put this hydrangea at? Let's see. Oh, got another one of these here. My goodness. So where can this one go? Right in the center? Yeah, this one can go right in the center. Right here. There we go. Some more of the Carolina Jasmine, just to add some whimsical and movement. There we go. Another balloon flower. I don't know how bad my other balloon flower it is. Can you even see it? It's kind of hidden, isn't it? Okay, and Go. And my last hydrangea here, which I'm going to tuck away. Where am I going to tuck this away at? Probably right here. Here is the finished flower arrangement. There it is. And we're done. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.